Hey guys, it's AlleyOopDunks. Another double round week is upon us. Let's see the agenda for today.
As always, we're talking about the credit bank, our team results, the coach or coaches of the week, as it's a double round week coming up, our team trades, and our team formation. So, firstly, what were the highlights from last week? And I mean, you can see Petrushkev, Tavares, Diallo having great performances. And I would also say we had Mirotic, Campazzo, Cordinet, Lesort in the top 10 as well. And all of these players are actually players that we believe they can keep on increasing value and keep on giving quite a lot of fantasy points. I mean, we don't need to get into detail, but I would say Tavares maybe from all of this, and Diallo had a little bit of ups and downs, but from the rest players that I mentioned, they are really guarantees. They are really consistent all year around. Then we had Sferopoulos with a big win for Cervena Zvezda. I would say this is on an ad hoc basis. Does Cervena Zvezda have a good matchup or not? But on the other hand, if we look on the downside, we have Herbert, and someone you would say that this is a very good discount on his value. They're playing a game that is quite difficult in Istanbul versus Efes, but it's something. If you feel risky with this price, you could take the risk. Although, as I said, it's mostly a 50-50 game. And then I think Hess Davis has been really the performance that has created some issues in many teams around, I think, from us, for our viewers. So something we were discussing with Konstantinos privately, potentially Baldwin coming back into the team means that Hess Davis takes less balls, or he's not required to finish, most of them as it happens now. So we need to keep a close eye on Hess Davis. So we are going to avoid him just for a couple rounds to see how things play out. And I think from the downside of things, one player that is not here on the slides is Edwards. Edwards reduces value by 0.6, and with 11.9 credits, we think is still a good opportunity now with this discount. He has been really good this year, as we mentioned in previous shows, and he has really done the step up this year. So potentially one to look at from downside that is not here is Edwards. So with this, we can move on then to our results.
Yes, and you see we got 170 fantasy points and with 1.7 credits gain, which is continuation to previous rounds, and we keep adding more credits. But you see, as Bill mentioned, for example, you see Petrusev, Lesor as a captain, Mirotic, Katash, all performed, Lovern as well. But also you see that Manion with a minus 1.8. We didn't expect that based on the fact that he is a new addition to the team, but he is one of the key guards for Olimpia Milano. Also, the same goes with Francesco. His last performances is not what he used to show us in the beginning of the season. So maybe that's, I'm not sure, but maybe he's a bit affected of the newcomer, and I mean Lonnie Walker, maybe. But we will see. Now they play a tough game versus Partizan at Belgrade. So we will see how Francesco performs. Also, the big disappointment, I would say, is Hayes Davis. with giving us only 1 fantasy points. He basically substitute Vajankov when he got injured. He was the forward that we choose and picked. He had one good round, but this round he really didn't perform. Maybe it's a Baldwin effect, and with the Baldwin on the court, he's having more of a filler, let's say, on the game. Let's say more rebounding or defense, but we will see how if he steps up next round. But as Bill said, we will avoid him for round 13. Again, it's a double round week, keep in mind, but I would focus again on the importance of having a good coach, because you see Katash gave us 20 points, which means these players gave us 150, but he gave us the boost to go to 170. And if the players that I mentioned give us something more, we would have 200 fantasy points in total instead of 170. But still, we will take it, and most of it we will take the 1.7 credits, the gain, to create our team for round 13.
Yeah, I think 200 would be the minimum, as you said. But let's see now. Let's get into the double round week, and let's move on with coaches. So we have one selection per round this time. We have, first of all, Zelimir Obradovic. That is only 5.9 credits. The play at home versus Algiris. They can build onto the good recent form they have. Especially the way they turn around the game versus Olympiacos. The first quarter of the game, it seemed like it was almost like two different teams. First quarter versus the end of the first half. So I think they can keep this momentum that potentially started with a big win in the Serbian derby going forward. So we think they should be getting that win at home versus Algiris. And as I said, 5.9 is actually a very good price to pay for that. As a secondary options, we consider Ataman versus Barcelona at home, but we think it's a little bit expensive for the risk of such a big game. Now on round 14, we have the new coach Spanoulis that he already won on his first game versus the champions. So at home versus Alba, they should really get this win. It is slightly expensive, 9 credits, but we think that game is a given, and we start at plus 10 as a minimum here, and there is only upside. So this is our options for the double round week. Let's go then on the trades for our teams.
Yeah, and these are the trades that we made for round 13. So you see Francisco, we mentioned some names, Francisco and Hayes Davis. As we said, we were not satisfied with their performances. And Lovern, he did perform, but we wanted to build the other options, especially on the newcomers. We wanted to bring TJ Shorts back. He is phenomenal. He is the leader of Paris, and just one-man show. If he starts get rolling, then he will get whatever he wants. Also, we wanted to go with Horde as an option for forward, because he seems to be one of the stable players and consistent in range of plus 18 to plus 20 fantasy points. And then also, as you see, we brought Koprivica as a sender. He's more of a filler because we already have Lesor in our team, but his performance versus Olympiacos, he stepped on the court and just gave a boost to the team of energy that the Partizan wanted. Also, he's playing good in the ABA League, so therefore and with 5.4 credits, he was the player to go at center. Also, because if you see, we spent a bit more for the head coach. We thanked Coach Katash for the 20 fantasy points. Now he has a tough game versus at home, but versus Paris. So instead, we chose Željko Bradovic. Partizan needs to build the momentum. Big victories, not just victories versus Crvena Zvezda first, then Olympiacos. Now Partizan double round week, both games at home. Tough games versus Žalgiris and Panathinaikos, but they need to build the momentum, and it's time that Željko gets Partizan rolling. So that's why we go with Željko Bradovic for this round. Should we see the team as we have it on the paper? Let's say.
Let's see. So that's our team for round 13. Our captain is gonna be DJ Sots versus Maccabi. Then we have his opponent Pod playing at forward, and we have Kahudi there just because he plays at turn 1, but really our forward is Mirotic and is also our captain for turn 2 if something goes wrong with Swords. And our X factor remains Petrusev, and from the moment he got into this team till now, he has delivered, and he has delivered large. So we stick with him. Also, we had amazing credit surplus since we got him in the team, because I think we got him potentially 3 credits less.
Yes, 7.1 if I remember correctly, to be honest.
Yeah, so more than 3 credits, so it's amazing. And then at the center position, the newcomer is Koprivica. Of course, this is more a player from the bench, but if he has a big game, we're gonna take it. So why not? He had a good showing on last week, and he also had an amazing game in domestic league. So why not? And of course, our main center has been for a while now Lesort, and it's a big game, so he needs to deliver. And he's coming from a great game as well, even though he didn't manage to get a win. Finally, last piece of the puzzle here is Magnon. He was really disappointed for us, as we mentioned earlier at the last game. Let's see if he can pick it up. Otherwise, he is in, under fire, let's say, in our team. But yeah, he's our turn to guard if we need him. The other 2 players are the fillers for our bench, and finally, our coach is Zelimir Obradovic playing at home versus Žalgiris. So let's see how our team does. But yeah, give us your comments, and maybe post your teams. Like our video and subscribe, and you can follow us also on X.
Yeah, guys, leave your comments, your suggestions, your questions, and enjoy another double round week in Euroleague.
See you.
See you soon.